Hi there and welcome back to Two Chicks Going Green. In honor of it being Veganuary, I wanted to make a video on my experience with veganism and talk about all of those amazing lessons that I've learned along the way. So today I'll be sharing some really important information and facts on the animal agriculture industry, and I will also be sharing some really helpful tips if you are trying to transition to a more vegan lifestyle. That being said, no matter what your diet is like, I think you should stick around and hear me out if you are trying to live a more sustainable and healthier lifestyle, because I will be sharing some facts that you may not already be aware of. Plus, I'm also going to be sharing some actions that we can all take to make our lives and the planet a better place and that are kind to the animals. Now, there are three main reasons why people decide to go vegan. Number one is for the animals, of course. Number two is for the environment. And number three is for health reasons. And by the way, technically, if you're doing it for the last two reasons, then that's considered being plant-based and not vegan. But I don't really want to get into that in this video. Just wanted to mention that there is a distinction there. Ethically speaking, a vegan lifestyle means that no animals have to suffer in the making of your foods or products, which is a beautiful thing. And by the way, there are so many amazingly informative documentaries on this topic on Netflix and on the internet that expose the horrible truths behind the animal agriculture industry, and I highly recommend watching them because it's important that we're all aware of where our food is really coming from. And it's actually the reason why I decided to start this process into going vegan. And then over time, I learned how much of an environmental impact is also made by living a vegan lifestyle. Animal agriculture plays a really big part in our climate crisis. Did you know that in order to accommodate the 70 billion animals raised annually for human consumption, a third of the planet's ice-free land surface is devoted to growing livestock? Additionally, a third of worldwide grain production and nearly 16% of global fresh water are used to feed livestock. One recent study showed that in an average American diet, beef consumption creates almost 2,000 pounds of CO2 emissions annually, and replacing beef with plants would reduce that by 96%, bringing it down to just 73 pounds of CO2. Lastly, health-wise, I'm sure that you've heard at this point lots of the studies correlating high intake of animal products with lots of serious health issues such as heart disease and cancers. But if you haven't looked into this, you might want to. There's lots of independent studies out there. Make sure that you get the ones not sponsored by the animal agriculture industry. And I'll also include a great documentary that is extremely informative on this topic in the description below, so make sure to check it out. I started my journey into veganism 7 years ago exactly, in January of 2016, and it's had its ups and downs for sure, but I am so happy that I decided to embark on this journey. And then of course I added on my journey to living a more sustainable and low-waste lifestyle, which then added on a whole new level. Long story short, there are definitely some key lessons and some really important takeaways that I've learned along the way. First and foremost, this is a very individual process, so take it slow, take it at the pace that you need to take it at, and do what's best for you. You can even start by trying to do 3 to 4 vegan meals a week and then move that up to 7 or 8, or all of your home meals, and then work your way up as you feel comfortable. You can visit the Veganuary website to learn more on the vegan movement, tips to getting started, and lots of great recipes. When I started this process, I didn't just go full vegan right away. I started by being pescatarian, then a year later I became vegetarian, and then in the next 6 months to a year, I went full vegan. And this really allowed me the time I needed to learn new recipes, see what worked for me, what made me feel the best, not be stressed out about what I was eating. And so that definitely helped ensure that I was successful in this transition. I have heard from others that try to make that transition or that switch in one day, and that never goes well. I mean, I have that experience as well. About 10 years ago, I tried going vegan for about 3 months, and I just did it without any prior experience, just from, one day to the next, and I was not successful. I did not feel well, and it did not go well. So your chances of succeeding at transitioning to a vegan diet are very, very low if you decide to do it from one day to the next. So instead, make it a process. Number 2, buy vegan products no matter what your diet is like. There is no need to test on animals anymore for personal care products and cleaning products and to have shoes or a jacket or anything like that made from animals. It's just cruel and unnecessary. So at this point, we all have options. You'd be surprised to learn how many products you have at home have actually been tested on animals. And don't just go throw it all away at once, of course. That's stressful and it's wasteful, and so it's counterproductive. Instead, look to switch out of the products as you run out of them in your home. For example, when you run out of a certain kind of makeup or a cleaning product, then look for the vegan alternative that is hopefully healthier and less wasteful as well. Number 3, buy your vegan supplements, pastas, grains, seeds, and nuts all in bulk and packaging free at the grocery store. Or if you're lucky enough to have a refill shop by you like I do, then you can go there for all of that. And if you do have one, then you can also refill all of your vegan zero waste natural personal care products and cleaning products at these amazing refilleries because most of them carry vegan products. And we have a whole video on bulk shopping at a refillery with lots of helpful tips in it, so make sure to check that video out. Plus, this gives all of those glass jars that you've been hoarding a purpose. Number 4, while eating out when you're fully vegan can be quite interesting, I've learned that it definitely can be done, and it actually can be a lot cheaper too, especially when you are eating out. A trick that I've learned is that if the restaurant doesn't have too many vegan options or none at all, then you can actually make yourself a veggie plate by, choosing a few of the sides that they offer that are veggie sides and asking them to put it all on one plate, and voila, you have yourself a veggie plate customized by you. And then if I do have a choice in the restaurant, I always take a look at the menu before, or I try to check out as many vegan restaurants locally and when I'm on trips as I possibly can. It is such a fun adventure. Number 5, have fun trying new recipes and don't be afraid to try new ingredients. There's a whole world of flavors out there, and my newest favorite recipe is a chickpea curry that is zero waste and so easy and cheap to make. It is so delicious. By the way, I did a video on my favorite vegan staples and recipes, so make sure to check that video out because in it I share my favorite zero waste plant-based go-to recipes, plus some great tips to make sure that you're being as budget-friendly and planet-friendly as possible when you are making these or any recipe for that matter. And in that video, I also share my favorite plant-based products to keep on hand so that it's easy to make most vegan recipes last minute. Number 6, you can find lots of meat substitutes for your favorite meals in vegan form nowadays. So if there's an animal-based dish that you think you can't live without, you can probably find a vegan alternative for it. One of my favorite meat substitutes is making pulled pork tacos out of mushrooms, and they are so tasty. Number 7, you can be an unhealthy vegan just like you can be an unhealthy non-vegan. Just because you're eating vegan food doesn't mean you don't have to worry about the ingredients in whatever you're eating. If it's vegan junk food or ultra-processed meat substitutes, those aren't going to be the healthiest. So you've still got to pay attention to what you're eating. And that leads us into this next tip, which is number 8, and that is to do your blood work regularly. I would recommend doing it before you decide to start the process to going vegan, and then regularly afterwards. I started doing mine about 10 years ago, and I check it about every 2 years, and I just got back my most recent blood work, and I was so happy to see that I've continued to drop my bad cholesterol, increase my good cholesterol, and that my anemia has gone away, which back in the day, I used to be anemic and I would get told to eat more meat, so kind of funny how that happened. Number 9 is be patient. Everyone and their mother becomes a nutritionist suddenly when you tell them that you are vegan. They could be eating Cheetos for breakfast or have all sorts of health issues. But the moment that you say that you're vegan or that you are transitioning to a vegan lifestyle, somehow they're going to worry about your protein intake. Point being, you're going to be involved in chats about veganism at any dinner table whenever people find out. So just know your facts, know why you did it, be patient, be yourself. I think when people are open-minded about it and want to have an honest conversation, it feels really nice to talk about it because it is a big choice to make and it is for important reasons. But not everyone is going to feel that way. So just be patient with others and, take it one conversation at a time. Last but not least, don't be too hard on yourself. This is a process, like I said before, we're all human. There's going to be ups and downs like I've had. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. No one is meant to be perfect. I think a lot of people making small changes always adds up to more than a few people being perfect about it. So any changes that you can make, any of the tips that you can take today that I gave you and integrate them will make a really big difference. Plus, don't forget that you can share this video with anyone who may be interested in participating in Veganuary or even considering a vegan lifestyle. And on that note, that's about it for today's video. I hope that you liked it and found it informative. And if you did, please, please, please give it a big thumbs up. I've included all of the links and any of those videos that I mentioned, as well as that documentary. All of those are in the description below. And I've also included a link to our Ko-fi page where you can morally support us or donate. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, I hope that you do. We do all sorts of videos on living sustainably, so I hope that you join us. And thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you on the next video.